Welcome to this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. What I want to pose to you today is something that has offered a pretty big breakthrough moment for women inside of my collective, which is my mentorship program. Currently, it is not open for enrollment, but you can get on the wait list to be notified when we open next. And there's going to be some Black Friday extras for those who join, including a new tier for those that want a different level of support and VIP options, including one-on-one access. So if you want to take advantage of these special offers that are coming out when you join the collective, make sure you get on the wait list, because it's only going to be over a very short period of time that I will be offering these exclusive bonuses. And one of the bonuses includes a love mapping one-on-one strategy and energy clearing session with me, where we get really to the root of what's going on with your love patterns so you can break free. What I want to talk about is women who are smart, high achieving, educated, intelligent, driven, ambitious. We're ones that really don't give up. We are like a dog with a bone when we want something. So we are tenacious, right? And so we don't give up easily. And this is a great trait for a lot of reasons and in a lot of different ways. But where it shows up that it's not necessarily a good thing is when we are tolerating unhealthy love patterns that are actually destroying our inner peace, our focus, our ability to show up as the powerful woman that we are. It's draining our power. It's draining our life force. But we still keep going because we are go-getters. We don't like to give up. And this pattern is something that I see among women. And I've been doing this work for 6 years, specializing in these relationships. So this is all I've done. It's been all I've eat, drank, breathed, written about, talked about for 6 years. So I don't love to say expert, but I would say I'm pretty well up there with that. I mean, being in the trenches with women in these situations and really understanding the ins and outs and what they're struggling with gives me a different viewpoint. And so I have all these different ways and threads and ability to see patterns. And so these women are just like that. They're successful, they're smart, they're articulate, they're very talented and educated, high-level women. And yet they find themselves in these relationships that are not at their equal. They're not at their level. And I mean emotionally. And some women have had successful husbands. It's not uncommon actually for successful, ambitious women to end up with husbands who are lawyers, which ends up being a whole other nightmare for them. But I digress on that. So that has been the pattern I've seen, is that. But then the second thing is that they will say to me, I know this is bad. I actually can't stand him. I hate him. I don't want to have sex with him. I don't want him to touch me. I don't want to be near him. His touch is repulsive to me. I feel disgusted by him. I feel repelled by him. I don't understand why I'm still here. What's it going to take for me to finally pull this plug? And I get that frustration. And what I have discovered within that is this emotional grip that is love addiction, that is an emotional addiction. And not every woman develops it, and maybe they develop it on different varying levels where some of it is more ingrained, and those women have a much harder time breaking free, just like with any addictions. Some people can break an alcohol addiction on their own just from sheer willpower and making a choice, and others don't. And there's a lot of factors as to why that is. It can be your upbringing, your capacity, what you have on your plate, the things that have happened to you as a child, the support system you have or don't have. There are varying factors as to why women can break free from these situations and go on to live a healthier experience, and why some will continue or they will leave and attract in a similar type of character. It's because we need to deal with the emotional roots of why we do this. And until we do, we're going to keep repeating it. That's just how it works. And that's why Women end up in a string of these relationships that they can see the common through lines of all of them. And then every woman is saying, all men are this and that. But it's more just that your energetic makeup is a match for that. That's how it works. You, on an emotional level, are a match for what you have. So it can't be any different. So when you start to elevate and you get the mentorship and you're in these more elevated spaces that are centered around rising above these patterns, you start changing your identity, how you think, how you're responding, how you feel, how you see yourself. And then that relationship becomes where it's no longer a match. I see the evolution of women when this is happening, these big light bulb breakthrough moments, these moments where they really tap into this fire within that they have been they've let it just be snuffed out. And they get in touch with this and they start seeing it and they're like, I'm on the cusp, I'm there, I'm getting there, I can feel it. And this is where having support is so crucial. And it's the reason why I created the space of the collective. It's a longer term space that is a 90-day initial commitment. I like to work with women in a 90-day chunk of time first. But the collective is that 90-day commitment, and then you can stay on month to month for as long as you need to throughout your journey beyond leaving and the other side. Because I've witnessed women have these profound breakthroughs, and then I haven't had anything to offer them except for one-on-one support, which I do very little of now. And so the collective is a space women can come in at any point and get the support wherever they are at. One of the key things for breaking through addictive patterns is having support. Trying to do it on your own will not work. And if it does work, it's going to take a long time and you're more at risk of repeating because you don't quite understand what's at the root of why you can actually physically feel like you hate someone, but be unable to leave them or feel just this glued to the relationship, glued to the person. And it's not the person you're addicted to, it's the pattern. And so this is a big thing we're doing in the collective right now. We're doing inside of the Break the Cycle intensive boot camp. That's not open right now either, but that is what we're doing inside of the collective. And I may open up access to that for those that join the collective. We will see. But this is a powerful boot camp thing I'm doing inside of Telegram that's audios, videos, and it's very much focused on breaking the pattern and breaking the addictive loop. Once you can really get into the core of why you are continuing to tolerate, which means you're staying and you're not doing anything differently to create something different, and why that is when despite you knowing that it's not good for you, despite you knowing that you deserve better, that it's very toxic, it's very unhealthy, and you still can't leave. So this really anchors in a lot of shame for women. And so they want to retreat and hide because it's not a match for how they see themselves on a day-to-day level. They see themselves as capable, smart. They're able to just overfunction and get shit done. They are managing their kids and all the activities and their home life, and they work on their fitness and their health and personal growth, and they're juggling businesses or careers while in one of these relationships. And so they already are capable of doing a lot, but they don't understand why this ability doesn't translate with their love life. Like that's the one area that they feel like they're failing all of the time. And they don't know what's at the root of it. And once you get to the root of it, everything starts to shift really quickly. Once you can realize what is going on. So this is kind of like, I'm all about the root cause, right? Like with health, I've been dealing with health stuff and I have a very holistic mindset around health. I have wanted to treat everything I can with natural remedies, herbs, supplementation, just holistic, right? And that's because I believe in the root cause. So my primary care physician really is my naturopath. I meet with her quarterly and adjust my hormonal dosages and what I'm doing, and taking bioidentical hormones, not synthetic, but because they look at it as the root cause. They're not going, oh, you have this symptom, let's silence it with this thing, this pill. And not that there isn't a place for strategic pharmaceuticals. There is. But it's something that I have not been someone to just go as my go-to. If I have an ailment, I will go naturally if and wherever possible, because I do believe in the body's ability to heal itself. But I also know sometimes that we do need intervention with medicines if it is a life-saving kind of thing. But I'm still about root cause. And so I've always looked at this in all areas, including relationships. What's the root cause? And what are the things women are trying to do to fix it that are not dealing with the root cause? And so then that's applied also to health. And we can actually apply that to lots of different areas. So the root cause is what is the real reason all these other things are happening. And so women deal with this by going to therapy, by reading more books, by working on their communication, trying harder, trying to be better, walking on eggshells, anticipating his needs, doing more, trying to bend over backwards more, just trying to please, to keep the peace. But they're not dealing with the root cause, which is their own emotional process that's going on underneath the whole thing. And that is what I help women do, is to really look at what's at the root of this. It is very easy, and I see this with women over and over and over again in different forms, where they come in to work with me and they have a big breakthrough and then they retreat. They kind of disappear. And that's when I kind of know, a lot of times, not always, sometimes it is just that life is busy and they get busy, but I always have this spidey sense that I know that they're bumping up against something and they're avoiding coming back into the space. And we can all go there. But when you're in a container, in a space that you are committed to and you know that you are invested, you're not just going to ghost the thing and disappear, because you feel accountable to that community and that work. And so what I love about the collective is that women can feel like they're bumping up against something and wanting to go back to the dark side, right? Their old identity as they're moving into the new one. And then they can get those touch points in there that's like, no, this is part of it. This is part of it. Stay the course, stay the course. That's how they shift through. Women that are not in mentorship keep going back to the dark side. They keep going back to their old identity. That's why things never change. So I created a video, it's a mini class, about how to break the emotional grip of toxic love patterns. You can get access to it. It's free. It's unlisted. It's something that I've created just for those that are within my community. And you can get access to it, the link in the show notes. And I'm talking about the key signs of an emotionally addictive pattern in a relationship, how to identify if that's what's going on. And if it is, that's the root cause and that's what you need to treat. This is something therapy is not going to fix. And also, what are the 5 steps to take if you find yourself in this type of loop, and how you can shift it when you're still in the relationship. I don't know anyone else that's teaching this specifically on how to deal with this while you're within the relationship. This is deep work. It's not just a cookie cutter, but that doesn't mean that there aren't quick shifts, because there are, but it's deep. We're going in for the root. You don't want to just be trimming the branches here. This is about helping women through the whole journey, because if you identify with those signs in the video that you are emotionally addicted, and again, it's not addicted to him, it's addicted to the emotional pattern, your emotional pattern, then you are very likely to experience a pretty intense crash on the other side when you leave. And so having that support in place for you, it's like the deepest form of self-care that you could do for yourself, to have that net on the other side to graduate into that triaged group of women that are on the other side. And then you can get support with that whenever it happens, whether it's a month, 3 months, several months. You can stay as long as you want to make sure that you have that ongoing support. So to take that first step and find out, is this really what's going on, that you have this emotionally addictive pattern, start with the class, go to the show notes of this episode, click the link, and you'll get instant access to the video, and you'll have a pretty good idea if yes, this is what's going on. And then you know where to look, that it's no longer about surface level fixes, reading more books, listening to more podcasts. This is a soul deep level emotional issue that can only be treated at the emotional soul level. It cannot be treated with more information. And this is why women can say, I could write books on narcissism and all these toxic traits. I've listened to all the podcasts, I've done all the books, I've done all the therapy, but it's not helping. This is why, because this component. So that's what I wanted to share here on the pod, because I've noticed that as I've been going more into this inside of the collective, how it's really helping women to see what's at the root of their ongoing issues in their relationships and with men. And so I wanted to come and just plant this here and offer you a pathway forward. So start with the class. And once you watch the class, you will be directed to where you can access the collective. If we're not open at this point in time, you can get on the wait list for the next cohort and join us when we open again. And before you go, if you love this episode and you love this podcast and it has served you, please take a moment right now and leave a 5-star rating in Spotify, if that's where you're listening, and a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. If you can do both, awesome. This is just a simple way you can give back to work with the law of reciprocity, to give back, because I do put a lot of time and even investment of finances to produce this show every week, sometimes multiple times a week. I have put episodes out, and I just ask for that small act of reciprocity, and I appreciate it so much. I'm trying to get to 100 reviews, 5-star reviews on Spotify. I think we're at 61. 4.9 stars because somebody left me a negative review. You're always going to get that. And I'm trying to figure out how many 5 stars I have to outweigh that one negative. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate it. All right. Bye for now.